Yeah, hi, good morning, Kunal here once again with yet another video on flowcharts, algorithms, and learn to code. Uh, for today, we have chosen a specific mathematical problem, a very easy one. But this particular problem will demonstrate two things. One, it will demonstrate how functions are used in the larger uh, subject of programming, and we will also deal with one particular aspect of functions, which is recursion. And the problem that I have chosen is to find the greatest common divisor of given two numbers. For those of you who may be wondering what this is, oh, sorry, uh, the GCD is a number, or rather, it is a factor that is common to both given numbers. So whatever the inputted numbers, GCD will be a factor that is common to both, such that there does not exist any other factor greater than the chosen one. So there is no other factor that is greater than the one we choose. So for example, if I have a number 8 and I have a number 6, if I see the factors for 8, they are 1. 1, of course, is a common factor for all the numbers, natural numbers at least, 2 and 4. So 1, 2, 4 are the factors of 8. If I see the factors of 6, they will be 1, 2, and 3, because 2 and 3 both divide 6. And if you can see, the common factor which is greatest is 2, because 4 is a factor of 8 but it is not a factor of 6, and 3 is a factor of 6 but not a factor of 8. So the common factor which is largest is 2. We will be using Euclidean arithmetic to find out the factors, the GCD rather, for any two given numbers. And the way it works is that we keep repeating uh, a process. Basically, we begin by checking if 8 is equal to 6 or not, which means that we will check whether the two numbers are equal or not. If not, we will subtract the smaller number from the larger number. So we will do 8 minus 6, which is 2, and then again check with 2 and 6. Uh, so we will again check with 2 and 6. So we will subtract the smaller number from the larger number. Whatever the result is, we will again check if the result is equal to the smaller number or not, which is 2 and 6 in our example here. If not, we keep repeating the process, and you can see that we have 2 and 6. I do 2 minus 6 again, which is basically 4. We have to check with now 2 and 4. If I repeat the same process, I will end up with 4 minus 2, which is basically 2. And now I have 2 equals 2. So the GCD is 2. This is a very convenient way of finding GCD. Convenient as in programming, because now I have a repeatable process, number one, which repeats itself based on some logic. So I can very conveniently introduce recursion at this stage. And the way I will do that is I will take an input. Let's just begin and build this program so that you understand much better. So I need two numbers, number 1 and 2. Let's say I'll ask the user to input the first number. I store it in a variable called a. Let's take another input. So let me go ahead and do that. The second number, and let's store it in a variable called b. And now I have two numbers a and b, and I want to see or check the GCD. Now there are various ways of doing this, but the best way or the most efficient way to do this is to create a function called GCD, which will basically use this concept of Euclidean arithmetic, and we will use the concept of recursion also. So let's just go and create a function. So here I will add a procedure. The name of the procedure, let's keep it GCD. We need two parameters, num1 and num2. So we need two numbers to be checked for GCD. So I have now created a function. And the first thing I want to do in this function is to use branching. So I want to check whether num1 and num2 are equals num2. If they are equal, I can simply say that the GCD is either num1 or num2. Doesn't make a difference what you would like to display here because both are the same. So I'll say, let's say the GCD is, and I will say num. Cool. What if the numbers are not equal? If they are not equal, and this is how programming will work, and you will learn to appreciate this when you solve similar kind of problems. Uh, if they are not equal, the first thing I will check is whether num1 is greater than num2 or not. So if let me finish this first. So num1 is greater than num. And if you can see in my, what we are doing is subtracting the, so in this recursive process we will be subtracting the smaller number from the larger number. The result will be again checked with the smaller number, and this is a repetitive process. This is what keeps on repeating. This is where recursion comes into play. So if num1 is the greater number, what I basically want to do here is to call this function GCD again with a small difference. What I want to do is I will call this GCD function again, and since uh, num1 is the greater number, I will just call the function GCD and pass in the parameters num1 minus num2, because now I want to check num1 and I want to check the smaller number with the result that returns num1 minus num2. So here I'll keep num2 the way it is because it is the smaller. Cool. That's it. And num1 is not greater than num2, which basically means that num2 is greater. In that case, I will do exactly the reverse. So I'll just copy this here, paste it here. I will edit this. I will not disturb num1 here now, but I will say num2 minus num1. Done, we are done. And in my main function, I will just call the GCD function with the parameters I've taken as input. So I will call GCD, and the two numbers I have taken as input are A and B. So if I do done, done, we are done. This is the whole logic for GCD. Cool, simple. We've used the concept of recursion. Let's test it. Input the first number, let's take 10. Input the second number, let's take 6. The GCD is 2. And indeed, the GCD of 6 and 10 is 2. So, this is how we use recursion in programming. Uh, Even for those who are using this concept, it will make sense if you try to create flowcharts and write algorithms. It will make your thinking more aligned to what we are trying to achieve. So I hope you like the video. More is coming. Like I said, we will be doing an entire series on Java with the intent that I get to demonstrate most of the problems that learners have with data structures, algorithms, dynamic programming. So that is where the focus is going to be. We will be doing a lot of collections in Java and some higher topics. So this series is going to come soon. So if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do that right now. And uh, we'll be starting pretty soon. Pretty soon, I mean, I intend to start in a couple of weeks. So yeah, so guys, thank you for watching.